All right, I got a bit of a video to do here. And I just wanted to give you my opinion. I think this is very important because I have never heard anybody ever even speak on this to be a little bit more clear. Now I talked a lot about True Life, about the videos he put out. I think it was 3 years ago, like his music videos, how his style changed, and I talked about him. There's one thing that I want to give you my opinion on. I actually went back and watched the True Life Mobb Deep beef video, the video that's there, and I had what would I say, like a pre-analysis about him. But I wanted to watch his part again. But as I thought to myself, I was like, when I started thinking more, True Life's a bit of a rich kid, I'm thinking, and I'm like, dude, those guys that are around him are like, not like his gang boys kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like, that's not like his gang and he's a gangster and they're gangsters and that it's their gang kind of thing. That's what I was picking up, right? And I go back and I watch the video and it just pretty much supplements what I was thinking. I had this thought, but I didn't just want to make that an official thing in my mind, like make it an official thought without actually like, kind of really rewatching just that little part of him with his goons or whatever. And I'm watching it, man, and I'm telling you, man, it's like he reminds me of such a young rich kid, Rich kid, has a rich family, rich uncle, rich aunt, you know what I mean? These guys are like looking after him. You know what I mean? Like they got these guys, cause he's like, I'm looking at him and I'm looking at these guys. I'm like, dude, these guys look older than him. You know what I mean? He looks like he's like 16, 17 or something. All these guys look like they're like 30s or 40s, man. And I see like the fate. Like I'm really studying these guys. Not studying. Like I just rewatched it once. I didn't pause or anything like that. But I'm watching it and I'm getting the impression, and it's kind of like, he's a special rich kid or whatever. And, we got to look after him and we got to make sure everything is cool. You know what I mean? And he says, we was wilding out, but we was wilding out for a reason. You know what I mean? He's saying we were wilding out for a reason. His reason was that Prodigy spit the same verse on another song, got that song published before he could publish his song featuring Prodigy, that he tried to reach out to Prodigy, that he tried to call him, and they were just denying him basically and ignoring him. So he wanted to take it to that level because they were known for taking it to that level. Now, for me, I mean, when I hear about Mobb Deep in the 90s, they put fear in people's heart, man. I mean, these guys were like, you had Tupac tattooing Thug Life on his body and things like that. These guys were actually tattooing like real like gang tattoos, you know what I mean? And they were living and they were shooting their videos in the projects. They were living in the projects. They were keeping it as hood as they could. I mean, I still remember Havoc's line when he goes, no matter how much loot I get, I'm staying in the projects. Now, I don't know. I doubt that. Well, maybe it is true. I don't know. But, I mean, maybe it's still true. I don't know. But the point is that they were just so hood, man. Like, all the guys that were hanging around were actually gangsters. Was an actual gang. They spit verses like a gang. Their beats were gang. And I know that they were not somebody to fuck with. I mean, the rap world, Queensbridge and having Nas and all these guys around, and New York had a lot of real gangster rappers around. So to me, that was a big thing because Mobb Deep was no pushover. You know what I mean? And I found it surprising. I mean, these guys ran into the studio when all of Mobb Deep's people were there, and it was so high profile that they had Muggs from Cypress Hill, who is an awesome DJ. They had him there, and he's a hip hop guy. They had another famous guy there. I forgot who it was. You know what I mean? And these guys, they left the famous guys alone because whatever, and they robbed all the other guys from Mobb Deep. But I watched that video, and they were, it was very obvious that they were sort of acting for True Life. You know what I mean? I'm looking at True Life, right? And he's like a baby boy, man. He's a baby boy. He looks spoiled. He looks like a rich kid. But these guys around him, it's almost like they're put around him to make sure he doesn't get into trouble. You know what I mean? It's like they're around him. They're not his boys like his age, you know? They're like around him to make sure that, you know, that everything's cool, kind of. You know what I mean? Like, hey, dude, look after him, make sure nothing, you know what I mean? That kind of thing. You know what I mean? It's like having your uncle there with you. You know what I mean? That's what it was like. It was like he had his uncle there with him. You know, the guy shooting off the shot and the faces, you know, everything. You just see it, man. You'll see it in all those guys that were around him, man. You know, True Life had, and then later, so I think this might be, now he's a bit more grown. I don't know if he's 20, 19, 21, 22. And I think he really, you know, there are guys who love the gangster appearance. Like they want to look like a gangster, you know what I mean? Like they'll get their hair braided in a certain way and everything. They'll dress in a certain way and they just want to look gangster. You know what I'm talking about? Like their appearance should look gangster. You know what I mean? It's like me keeping up. Well, I don't really keep up appearances, but if I was to keep up an appearance, I don't have to do much. But look at this hair, man. You know, but if I was to tie my hair, if I was to dress nice and everything, but I try to keep that appearance up, maybe because I'm going for a job interview. But that's kind of, well, okay. We're talking about hip hop. That's lame. Okay, I might keep an appearance up if I'm going to a nice party. If I'm going to a nice nightclub, even if I'm just the age to go there, I might dress up, even if it's not that like an expensive suit. I might just dress up in a suit, dress shirt, dress pants, dress shoes. For me, that's what keeping appearances is. Typically, my appearance is about comfort, and that's always been me. Like I'll wear track pants. I don't really care. I'll wear track pants, a hoodie, a t-shirt, whatever it is. Sometimes I might put on like an expensive polo sweater. I like polo sweaters, I'll admit. and I'll put on an expensive polo sweater, if anything. You know what I mean? I lost some of my sweaters in the goddamn desert in Dubai, you know what I mean? But I left them because I didn't, anyways. I ended up having to come back to winter, so I pulled out this nice jacket. Sometimes I put on a polo sweater that's really nice. But that, for me, that's keeping up appearances. For some people, keeping up appearances is just looking good. You know, maybe they just want the opposite gender to be attracted to them. Maybe they just want to feel like the class that they are, or whatever the case is. But this guy, I'm watching this video and he's saying, and so I didn't see Snoop Dogg. Maybe he was there, but he goes, I got Snoop Dogg with me. I got this guy, that guy. And he's really trying to put on a bit of an act. Like, you know, he has all these famous rappers around him. I don't know if it was it was somewhere in New York, like at an event or some kind of rap thing. And he starts talking about, and I just can't imagine this. He starts talking about, oh, the ladies love my look. I look the way the ladies love. You know, all the ladies be feeling me, this and that. I'm like, why are you saying that? Like, dude, this is the rap game. You got the camera on you. Why the hell are you saying this shit, man? Why are you talking about all the ladies? You know, I'm looking. It's just like you're looking gangster so that ladies will want to get with you because. Now I know there are a lot of kids that do that. I'm not. You know, and I know there'll be a lot of kids that are angry at me. I know that there'll be kids in New York wanting to pull my head off right now. Okay, because there are a lot of kids who act that way, dress that way, and are that way. No, I don't know if I told you this before, but he has True Life has a photo. He has a video, and the cover photo of that video is this. Okay, it's a Gangster Disciple pitchfork. Okay. So, you know, and I was surprised when I first saw that. I thought he was just a gangster rapper, whatever. But I didn't know he was GD. Okay, so when I saw that he was a Gangster Disciple, I was like, okay, you know, and I think I did talk about that. I was like, you know, maybe I don't want to screw with him verbally on my videos, but yeah, like those guys around him were more like they were in the understanding that they're actual adults, like they're older adults, and that he's a kid. You know what I mean? And they were trying to help him at the same time because he was probably telling them, and this he was trying to give off the impression that he was legitimate. Like, dude, I'm trying to be a legitimate artist. I want to be successful at this. I have the talent to be successful. He's putting that on, and those guys are like, you can tell that, you know, he's a kid in there and that they're adults when they're around him. Like all those guys, I didn't see any kids hanging around with them. They were all adults. He was a kid. They were all like older adults, you know? So I'm thinking about it like, what the hell is going on? When I saw that GD picture, I kind of figured, okay, maybe maybe he had family ties with GD, and maybe he had rich family members also, and you know, he was just trying to be what he should have been, but I don't think he had it in him, man. You know what I mean? You know, some of us break and we become different people. You know, you might have a guy who's so tough or gangster, whatever he is, and he breaks and he just turns like softer than a marshmallow, you know, like a little pink elephant. You might have a guy who seemed weak and he breaks, and after his breaking point, it's like he's even stronger. You know, he comes back way stronger. You know what I mean? In every way and form, shape, way and form, he just comes back way stronger. You know what I mean? So, so yeah, that was my big thing. The main thing I wanted to tell you was, you know, when they talk about that beef and all that shit he did, that was just the guys that were around him. I'm sure he was complaining to an uncle saying, dude, I've been calling them, dude, this guy, and I know he wanted that, you know, and you know how much credit he got for that? Like, the underground rap scene was like, whoa, you know, you shook Mobb Deep up, man. You got Mobb Deep to kind of like surrender, you know what I mean? And that's what he was always known for. And then when he broke, you know, he was like, dude, the rap game can have me. You know what I mean? Dude, all you rappers, all that shit that I talk, man, I hate myself for it at this point. Because a guy who was harder than me broke me, and I don't ever want to go back there. My fucking reputation is broken. I'm broken. Dude, all you famous rappers, dude, just have me, man. Because that's like my way of getting back at those guys who basically punked me, kicked me out, you know, broke me and everything. So you guys have me. You know what I mean? It is like that, dude. You know, you can have a kid who just has pure, you know, certain kinds of tendencies. You know what I mean? And he's from an opposite. He could be brought up even by middle class, but brought up like he's poor, you know, having to get a job, pay for himself. This kid's trying to go to school, trying to get into university. This kid's struggling with work, you know what I mean? And later on, this kid's like pulling heists, you know, pulling actual heists, and he's going to jail. And his breaking is like, you know, making him even stronger. You know, every time he breaks, he just comes back even stronger in every form. So anyways, I'm done. You know, I like talking about real rap and underground rap. This True Life thing got me excited. I think I've talked about Cypress Hill and the Ice Cube beef already. If I haven't, I don't know. These are the only two legendary underground hip hop beefs that I know. I'm not talking about P. Diddy and Tupac versus Biggie and all that shit. Anyways, I'm done. Hope you enjoyed the video.